This week on NintenDomain, we talk about a whole bunch of Pokemon announcements, and we'll talk about our top 5 racing games that aren't Nintendo games.
Prepare to transform.
Welcome to NintenDomain episode 123. It's the only time we'll have that episode.
It's almost the opposite of a countdown.
It is a countdown. Well, 1, 2, 3 instead of 3, 2, 1. We could get to 3, 2, 1 if we try hard enough. We'll get there too. But yeah, 1, 2, 3, 123 episodes. Crazy. We've done a lot of these. And we're your hosts. I'm Trey, the Indy 500 broke me Johnson.
And I'm Jeremy Danica Patrick Mikowski.
Danica Patrick got in a wreck, Mikowski.
That's true, she wrecked.
Was my fault. Welcome to our show about Nintendo and Nintendo-related things, NintenDomain podcast. We're missing a host this week. John is off fighting giant eels in the world of Super Mario 64. So he has to fight those eels with those really fucked up eyes that you've seen that have the stars trailing them. He's off stuck in some underground ship somewhere doing that.
He's like possibly dealing with parallel dimensions as well, I guess.
Possibly. What, wormholes or eel holes or something?
Time holes,
yeah. So it's just us two. But we got it. But there's a lot to cover this week. There's a lot of news that's been happening. We bought a lot of games. You know, there's a lot of stuff coming out. So we're going to do that. But let's start off how we normally do, I guess, and talk about the shit that we bought. I think we both bought the same games from last week. We both got Curse of the Moon, the Castlevania game, Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, the extra game by Iga and Inti Creates. It's a pretty cool game. I played through the first 5 levels of it. It's definitely not an easy game, but it reminds me a lot of Shovel Knight, so it's very much like Shovel Knight mixed with old Castlevania games. You can't level up, but you can find stuff that will make you stronger as you go through the game. I don't know if you found there's you can get health upgrades and you can get weapon upgrades where you can carry more weapons at once, so that helps. And I guess you were telling me that I know there's 4 characters in there, but you were telling me that you can kill the characters when you get to them. I haven't tried doing that yet, but
nor have I. But yeah, you can kill the characters, and it's sort of like in Shovel Knight when you destroy the midpoints to get more money.
Yeah, and make it harder.
A shit ton more gems or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, in this case, you sacrifice having the extra life, so to speak, to just have a more souped up main character.
Yeah, I wanted to try doing that, but I haven't done it yet. But I made it through the first 5 levels. I made it to where the map changes and you're at the bottom of a castle. So I think that might be the last part. There might be 5 more levels. But I played after that. The other night I was drinking a little bit and I tried playing it and I got my ass destroyed on that first level, so I haven't really gone back to it ever since. But I was having a lot of fun with it before. It's definitely difficult and you gotta play some of those bosses over and over again. What I think is really cool though is there's branching pathways in it, and if you have all of your characters alive, they all can do different things. I don't know the names of the characters. I don't feel like they tell you in the game, but I'm sure in Wikipedia somewhere or something it tells you who's who. But the female character that's basically the Belmont, the one that has the whip, she can do a slide move that'll get you into smaller areas, where you can slide under stuff. And there's been a lot of secrets with that. Plus the old man guy, that he has a fire shield that can help you to get to other stuff. So there's stuff like that you use. Plus, once you get the Alucard look-alike, he can turn into a bat and fly to places that you can't get to, which really helps when you get later in the game. When there's stuff, where you have to climb up to a certain thing, you just turn into him and just fly straight up, and it's way quicker than trying to do it the normal way. I found him as being really, really helpful, especially in that 3rd level when you get to the ship. He really helps there, because then you don't have to worry about jumping. You just turn into fucking bat and fly through it.
Yeah, so I've fought a dragon, a 2-headed dragon, and then the ground fell away, and then I got trapped. And I'm actually just paused on that spot, but I failed my first time fighting the 2-headed dragon.
Is that after the ship then, or before? No, that might be before the ship.
I think it's before the ship. Yeah. So I think I'm either on the 4th or the 5th level, because I have all 4 of the characters now.
Oh, well, if you have all 4 of the characters, then it's got to be the 5th. The ship has to be the 5th because I use the Alucard guy for it, and you wouldn't have him.
You know what? You're right. It is the ship because it's there's like big chasms and stuff that I have to use to fly over.
Yeah, there's like it's like raining, and there's like a lot of masts and like sails and all that. And the boss is pretty interesting. It took me a while to figure out how to beat him, but yeah, the ship is the last part that I got, and then after that you get into the castle. But yeah, it's really cool. If you like old Castlevania games, it's totally worth it. It's only $10, it's only $9.99. I guess this was a tier that they got to in the
Kickstarter.
Yeah. It was a tier they got to in the Kickstarter, and it was something they weren't even going to do, but they got raised enough money. They're like, oh, hey, we'll do this other one quicker. And it's like a companion piece to the main game. I guess it's like a prequel is what I heard. So whatever the Bloodstained one, the big one that they're doing is like a sequel to this, but it's really nice. It's a cool game to come out of nowhere, and it's really impressive. And it's like on my list of top games for this year already. I think I liked it a lot. I was really impressed. I can't wait to play more of it.
I'm happy, yeah. So I got this for 95 cents, and I wanted to make sure to mention that because I finally used my gold points.
Yeah,
my gold coins from Nintendo, because times have been tight in the Mikowski household. I think I mentioned that last week, but yeah, 95 cents to play this awesome game that I've already spent a decent amount of time with, and it's fun and it's stylish and it looks really nice.
Yeah, it's very it's not Metroidvania at all. It's just straight up Castlevania, old school. But it's cool. I like it. I like the different pathways. That's and I like that you can kill your guys if you want, so you could go through it and do it completely different. So I'm really interested to see how that plays. I should have tried it, but I didn't. But we also, is there anything else you want to say about Curse of the Moon before we move on?
No, not much. Yeah, no, not really. It looks great, and I'm amazed at how fast they made it. I think they only spent like 6 months on it.
Yeah, that's what I heard, like 6 or 7 months, something like that. So yeah, it looks really polished. It plays really nicely. I mean, it plays like a Castlevania game. Like there's knockback damage. Like if, contrary to what Brian Altano said, there is knockback damage. If somebody runs
so he was definitely playing on the there's mode. 2 modes, and he was playing on the beginner mode.
Yeah, because I heard that on the IGN podcast last week, and I was like, wait, there's knockback damage. I got killed a bunch of times from that. Like, don't say there isn't. He also said there are only 5 levels, and that's not true either. There's at least double that from what I've seen. I mean, there's at least 6 because I'm on level 6 and I haven't even beaten the game.
So I think it's also worth mentioning. It's pretty cool that the IGN review was written by our boy Jeremy Parrish,
friend of the show, Mr. Parrish. Yeah, he wrote the article, gave it an 8.2. So I didn't even know that he was writing for IGN still. I mean, I know he did before, but hey, why not? You know, freelance world. The podcast can't be all the money that he gets, right? Let's get money elsewhere. But yeah, I wonder if, cause he normally writes reviews for like US Gamer too. I wonder if he just like sold that review to like a bunch of different places. Or maybe it doesn't work like that. Maybe it's like an exclusive thing. He can only write it for one site. I don't know. But anyway, go read his review. It's good. I'm sure he liked it. I know he traveled to Japan to play it at Bit Summit, among other things. So it's pretty rad. But, it's cool. It's a good game. Get it. But another game that I don't necessarily think you should get, but we got anyway, the Baobab's Mausoleum or something or other.
Yeah, that fucking game.
Yeah. You can watch my video. I made a video on YouTube of it. You can watch me rage quit on there if you really want to see what's up with that. It's like Baobab's something.
So I made it to. What did I do the last
Did you make it?
I just killed all the.
You killed the chef?
I went to the 3D mode, and then I went to the house, and then I got thrown in the basement.
Oh, you beat the 3D mode?
Yeah, and I got thrown into a basement, and then I got stuck after that.
How'd you beat the 3D mode? Because that's where I quit.
You have to find all 4 of the gopher things.
No, but I couldn't. Like, the control was completely broken. Like, I couldn't jump and get the shovel.
Oh, yeah, that part sucked so bad.
Yeah, no, that's the part I gave up on because it controls so awfully. There's every time I jump, I get thrown into the water, and I'm not even going towards the water. So that
sucked really bad.
I'm surprised you got the shovel. I just kind of lost patience.
It took a really long time, and there was a little bit of yelling involved. I didn't record it, unfortunately, but.
Well, I recorded it. You can watch me. You can watch me play it. I get pretty pissed off.
Okay, well, I didn't get too far past that spot.
Yeah. Well, you got farther than I did. You have more patience than I do. I kind of got angry and just quit after that. I even tried it again when I was at your house before we went to the race. I even tried that part again, and I just could not. Like, even trying to take it super slow, I still couldn't do it.
The game definitely feels like it was made by a small team. Or maybe just one person. But it does look cool, and I understand it's got that weird, like, trippy Hotline Miami thing going for it. Like, the style's really strange, and the story seems really dark.
Yeah, the story's weird. Like, at the beginning you like meet this rat that's like, bring me something with pepperoni on it, and makes you think that you got to bring him a piece of pizza. And there's another guy that's like, bring me a beer. And then you end up like putting gasoline in a beer bottle and giving it to him, and you end up killing the rat instead of giving it a pizza piece. So there's all sorts of weird stuff that happens like that in there. And there's a part where a guy like gives you a record to play that makes everybody dance. Like, that's pretty funny. I mean, this is early in the game. It's not really spoilers.
Yeah.
And the song, it's called like Trixies or something. It's supposed to be like a play on the Pixies.
But yeah, it's a hipster band or
the album that he gives you, yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah. The game's weird. The 3D stuff does look really pretty. It just controls horribly. But I think it looks really cool. I mean, that was part of why I got it, was just seeing it in that video.
What's really creepy, like it's already like creepy and unsettling, the art style, but the way the 3D works, you know, it's got that, I guess, Mario 64 kind of thing where the sprite trees would rotate with you.
Yeah, they're all flat.
But in HD, with these really big objects that are close to you, it's a really almost unsettling thing, like seeing these giant trees like turning to face you as you rotate around them.
Mm-hmm. Well, I always thought that it was kind of creepy, like Doom 64 and Duke Nukem 64 do that too, where like everything rotates with you. And there's a part where there's a part in Duke Nukem 64 where there's a really dark room that has like the Blues Brothers in there. I think I mentioned this before, and they're like a flat sprite, and it's really dark, but everywhere you turn, they look at you, and I always thought that part was pretty freaky, because they follow you around. But it's also like super dark, and it's kind of like, it's like supposed to be an Easter egg, but it looks weird, because it's like, why would you find this? And it just looks kind of like I don't know. It's a strange part of the game.
So is it like a photo of a poster, or?
No, they're standing there. They're like supposed to be people, but they're sprites.
Oh.
So they like move when you move around them. You know, I always thought that part was creepy. I'd have to find it again and see what it's like. I haven't played that game in a while, but I do still have it. But it was weird. I think we talked about this before, but the Duke Nukem 64 was changed because they took out all the sex stuff, but they ended up making it kind of more disturbing because there's like restaurants that serve human meat and stuff in there that wasn't in the regular game. And, you know, Nintendo make everything violent but not sexy. You know, they took the strippers out and replaced it with like a human meat, with like hamburger places that were serving human meat. And it's like, okay, that's way weirder. Replace sex with cannibalism, but that's their thing. But yeah, that's Baobab Mausoleum. It's only like $5, and I guess it's episode 1. It's kind of, I mean, I was having an okay time with it until I got to the 3D part that I just couldn't play. And I understand if it's made by one guy. I just really wish that he would have had somebody test it, like have his buddy play it and be like, hey man, this part's completely broken. And maybe he's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, it's got a really old school, like Flash game feel to it. Mm-hmm. Even though it's a fully 3D game, like,
well, parts.
It doesn't really adhere to like conventions. So like you were saying earlier, it like creates a pretense and then just like doesn't even go through with it. And like, I don't know, kind of has that like just thrown together feel in that regard. Like,
yeah,
well, I didn't want to animate like finding a pizza slice, so how about I just
kill a guy?
Yeah, but maybe that's not the case at all. Maybe he wanted to give you that impression. You know, it's the old switcheroo.
But yeah, I think it's supposed to completely like not be what you expect, like all the outcomes, which makes sense. And like that guy that you give the beer bottle filled with gasoline, and then you take his car and drive it like 2 feet. And that's like what it's like, okay. And then you walk behind it. It's like you could have probably taken the truck and ran over that guy who was blocking the road. And there's like a random like cat's head that you find, like a severed head. Did you find that? It's just like there, but it doesn't say anything. Yeah, I looked around a lot before I figured out how to put the gasoline in the beer bottle. So I found a severed head, and there's like another guy. There's a cop who's like blocking the road. Did you find him like in the next part?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could just take the truck and try to like run through that. I don't know. This guy's supposed to be like an FBI agent, you know, the weird, and he looks like an eggplant, I guess. He's like purple. It's a bizarre game. I mean, if you're looking to try something weird and don't mind throwing $5 into something that might like completely annoy you, I guess, go for it. But I really don't totally recommend it. I guess it's hard to say because it's just such a bizarre game that it's like, I don't know. But
it might be worth the price of admission to at least try the first one out, I would say.
Yeah, yeah. Because there are supposed to be...
I think I could healthily recommend this first one for $5.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, don't buy any more, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, apparently episode 2 is on Steam as of right now, and 3 is close to being done, so I don't know how many they're going to do. But that's what's going on. Hopefully they fix the 3D part, because I thought the 3D part looked really, really cool. And then I got really disappointed once I got to it.
To be honest, that part with the shovel, I was stuck there for quite a while.
Yeah, me too.
And I kept just kind of floating off the edge into the water, and I'd be like, why? I didn't even jump to the left.
No, you don't.
I just jumped straight, and then I drifted to the left really fast.
Yep, that's what it does. And it's really annoying because you didn't even go there. You went to the left in no way. You just tried to go straight. And then you try to do it like really slowly, and then still you just fall off. And it's like, why? I just don't understand.
Or you can't jump forward. You can only jump straight up when you try to go slow. Like you won't move forward.
Yeah, and then you got to like run farther, and then you get thrown into the water. It's a pain in the ass. So if you really like being tortured, then maybe you should get it.
I'm not ruining too much for you, but you end up getting a shotgun, and you fucking kill that golden flamingo with a shotgun. So this game's weird.
Oh, I didn't even see the golden flamingo.
Why did I have to shoot a golden flamingo with a shotgun?
Because
it was just standing there.
Because reasons.
Well, I had to give it to a guy so that he would move out of the way so I could go into his house. Then I went to his house, and his wife got mad at me for getting into her refrigerator, so she tried to kill me and threw me in the basement.
Okay. Sounds about right. Sounds like something that would happen. Yeah, Baobab's Mausoleum. Check it out. It's a weird ass game. There's another game that we both got this week that kind of came out of nowhere and I didn't even know about. Pokemon Quest came out today.
Yeah.
Or maybe it came out yesterday. I don't know. I saw that some of my friends on the Switch were playing it, and I was like, oh, that's out, and I checked it out, and it's completely free. I played it for an hour. You can check it out on YouTube. But it's pretty fun for what it was. I actually enjoyed it. But I haven't seen any sign of microtransactions or anything in there.
It feels like a mobile game.
That's like
it's definitely a mobile game.
That's just what I was going to say, that it totally feels like a mobile game. But and I actually was under the impression that it was going to be on that it's going to be for the Switch and mobile. But I looked on my iPhone and I couldn't find it anywhere. So
Same here. I looked for it on Android.
Yeah, maybe it's like a delayed release. Or maybe it's not coming out. I thought I had read somewhere that it was both, but maybe not. But yeah, it's totally available. You're like in this, and the Pokemon are super boxy. They look really like pixelated, sort of. It's like kind of crafting, but not really. Like you basically just cook food and stuff to like attract.
It's got a bit of a Minecraft feel to it in a very basic way.
I guess. I mean, you don't break anything down. I mean, I guess from defeating. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really feel much Minecraft from it aside from like the graphics.
Visually.
Yeah. Because you're not like collecting like pieces of dirt or whatever to build a new house or like building swords or whatever. But you do
have to do cooking recipes.
Yeah, well you fight other Pokemon and you get like apples and mushrooms or whatever, and you make like some sort of stew or whatever that will attract more Pokemon to your site, and that's how you get more Pokemon to use on later stuff. I've gotten like an Onix and like a Vulpix and like a Zubat and some other cool stuff like that. And you get to the point where you find specific things to attract specific types. Like I have like a poison attract type and like a bug attract type. I wasn't able to do like, fire or water or whatever. But you get to start with like the main, like I think you get to pick like Eevee, Pikachu, Squirtle, Charmander, or Bulbasaur.
Yeah.
Who did you go to at the beginning?
Squirtle.
Yeah, me too. I did Squirtle also, which I don't know why. I was just like, Squirtle, he's cool.
He just looked the coolest out of all of the models.
Yeah. Well, and I like Squirtle. I like Squirtle in the Squirtle Squad. So I went for him. But yeah, no, I was having fun with it. I mean, I'll definitely play it some more, especially since it doesn't cost anything. And it's And there's like, you find upgrades that you can add to your guys to give yourself like more life or like make yourself hit harder and all that. And I guess you can use some of the Pokemon that you have to train to like give yourself new moves and stuff, but whoever you train with dies. Like they disappear after that. Like it said, so I didn't try the training because it's like whoever you train with, they'll go away and they won't be back. So I didn't want to lose any of my Pokemon, so I haven't done that yet. But
so you're kind of like sacrificing old Pokemon to give new moves to other Pokemon?
That's what it sounded like, because there's like a training mode, and it's like choose a Pokemon to use like to be your spar buddy or whatever. But it's like you won't get that. They're like you'll lose this one, you won't get it back. So be careful who you pick. So I didn't pick anybody because I was fairly early in the game. But I played through the first 2 full level sets, and I did all the bosses of both of those. So I played it in an hour, and it's something I'll return to. I was having fun with it. So
I know you spent $0 on it,
and I spent absolutely nothing on it. So it was just kind of a nice surprise. Like I didn't expect it to be out now, and I didn't expect it to be like completely free. Did you watch the Pokemon thing?
Okay, well, first I was going to give my impressions of the game. I only played through the first set of levels, and I think that I don't know if you played it with the controller or did you use the touchscreen.
I played it with the controller, but I could see how it could be a little bit easier with the touchscreen. Did you play it handheld?
I think next time I play it, I'm going to play it in handheld mode with the touchscreen.
Yeah.
And see if the experience feels a little better. Because it does seem like you dynamically are choosing the actions of the Pokemon depending on where they are in proximity to the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I want to do that. But yeah, so instead of watching I haven't watched the actual video of the presentation, but there was a thread on Reddit about it on the Nintendo Switch subreddit.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a guy live tweeting the event that was there at the event. So I just followed him on Twitter and was getting like a play-by-play from him.
Okay. Well, we'll talk about that more in our news part. I just was curious if you had watched because I wasn't able to. I was working. I didn't able to check any of it out. But we'll go into further detail in our second part here. But yeah, that's a nice little, I was just curious if they were like, oh, hey, it's available now, like during their presentation or whatever. But yeah, no, it's out there. It's completely free. You can play it. Were you looking for it on your phone because you'd rather play it on your phone? Is that why you were looking for it, or you were just curious?
I saw someone on NBC had posted screenshots of playing it, and my initial thought was it can't be on the Switch because I had just been on the Switch eShop and hadn't seen it, so yeah. I looked on Android for it. So I think it must have gotten added today at some point.
Yeah, I just saw somebody was playing it, and I was like, oh, shit, I didn't know that was out. And then I tried it, and ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would, because I know people were comparing it to, like, Pokemon Rumble, and I didn't really like those games, so I thought it'd be different. But we'll get into more Pokemon stuff in our new segment. We got some more games to talk about.
It's just like super RPG light.
Yeah. It's free, and it's a nice little time passer, if you kind of want to play something that's not super, super hardcore. So there's a couple other games that I got this week. Actually, this is like our own news. We went to the Indy 500.
We sure did.
Which completely broke me, as I said in my middle name. So it took me a bit to finish the Honey Darling show and get back to doing YouTube videos and all that. But yeah, we did that, and we're going to do racing stuff inspired by that. And since we went to Indy 500, I remember that there was an Indy 500 game for the Wii. Came out way back when, and I always wanted to play it, and I found it on eBay for $5, so I ordered it. It's not here yet, but I'll be really interested to play it. It's Indy 500 Legends, and being a kid growing up going to the Indy 500 and being a video game fan, I always kind of wished that there was the Indy 500 game. I think the closest thing I had was the F1 pole position game on Game Boy. The one that had like the 4-player.
Oh wow, that's old.
Yeah, that was like the only game I had that was like an F1 racer thing, so that was the closest that I got. And I always wanted to play, Indy 500 stuff, and now I can. So next week, I'll let you know what happens with that game.
Surely there's got to be more Indy 500 games out there.
I mean, there's a PC one, I think. I remember seeing an advertisement for it in the program, but
they haven't done anything on the PS4 or the PS3 or anything.
I don't know. Not that I know of. It's like such a niche racing thing. It seems like that maybe it doesn't really. I mean, there's like NASCAR games, but I don't even think those sell that well. Even I don't know. Maybe it's just not really a good crossover. Like maybe not a whole lot of indie people are into games. Who knows?
There sure were a lot of people at the race.
Well, that's sure. Yeah, there were like 500,000, something like that is what one guy was saying. But you bought a racing game too this week.
I did, which I guess we're going to talk about a little bit in the latter half of the show. But yeah, I bought Sonic All-Stars Racing Transformed, which I kind of briefly spoke with you about purchasing, and then I looked on the eShop, and you can get it through the eShop for $30 on the Wii U. Right now. So if you want to play it right now and you have a Wii U, go get it.
It's 30.
Yeah, I opted to go and see if it was at Disc Replay, and luckily they had one copy of it, so I bought it for $16.99.
Yeah, that's a good price.
I've played like 6 hours or 7 hours of it.
Yeah, I mentioned it when I was leaving your place after the race, because I was like, hey, we were talking about Danica Patrick being a character in that game, that there's like a cartoon version of her. And she kind of like really sticks out like a sore thumb in the game, like compared to all the Sega people. But at the same time, it's kind of great that she's in there. It was just kind of like, oh, okay. Like I remember buying it just because I heard it was good. And I bought it when it came out, like when the Wii was new, when the Wii U was new. Because I had bought the Wii one also. I bought the regular Sega Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing, just the regular one, which that one's good too. You can get that for like probably $10 on eBay. If you ever get tired of playing the Wii U one, you should definitely try the Wii one as well. I think that one's also great. But it's good because it kind of like, just borrowed a lot of stuff from Mario Kart and just kind of ran with it, which instead of trying to make its own thing and not make it as well. But on, it's a news thing, but on that same subject, Sonic Team Racing got announced today. That's supposed to come out in the winter, and it's coming out for Switch. So they are doing some sort of sequel to it. I wish that it was a Sonic and Sega All-Star Racers 3 or whatever, but it says Sonic Team Racing. So it may not be all the rest of the Sega guys, but I wish that it was. But we do, but the design of the cars that I saw from the teaser trailer do look a lot like the cars from Transformed. So, I'm hoping for it to be similar to that. But it's fun though, right? It's a good game.
I like it, man. I like it a lot. $17. So, I bought it yesterday and I've already put at least, 6 to 8 hours into it. So it's meeting my standards for $1 an hour.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's fun. Like we played online. There'll be a video up by the time this podcast episode is
still
up.
Works, even though the game is 6 years old.
Yeah, you can watch us play online just with both of us and computer players, but still we're able to use online, which is crazy. Yeah, that Sega's keeping it up. I know. Well, I mean, the Nintendo online's still working, but whoever's doing the Sonic Sega All Stars, they kept that going. So,
I wanted to take a screenshot when I unlocked Danica, and I couldn't because the Miiverse is gone.
Yeah,
that was the first time that I really felt like the weight of Miiverse being gone since they took it away.
Well, because you can take screenshots so easy with the Switch, and you were probably like, "Where's the screenshot button?" Oh, it's not there. Yeah. Oh, Wii U. That would be a good game to re-release, I guess. You could re-release that as long as you don't do the Nintendo route and re-release it at $60. I mean, I would buy it again for like 20 or maybe even 30, if it had like some updated online or new characters or something. I would probably, if there was a funky mode on there, or the equivalent of funky in Sega World. But yeah, that's a fun game. But speaking of fun games, well, maybe not fun, but hard games, Ikaruga came out yesterday, or it came out on the 29th. A GameCube game that IGN was frothing about. It was on the front cover of it. But Ikaruga, treasure game, a vertical shooter where you basically can switch from white to black on a ship, and you can eat either black pellets or white pellets and shoot them back at the guys, depending on how many you have. And that's basically what it is. And the game gets incredibly intense and really, really hard. I just played it today for the first time, and I died fairly quickly in the second chapter, and then I went into the options to turn up the lives, and I realized that there's a free play mode on there. So I just kind of ran through the whole game, and so that was cool. I mean, I went through the whole thing in like a half hour, but it's hard. It's really, really hard. Like, I wouldn't have been able to get through it if I didn't have infinite lives, because there's a lot of parts where it's just like, how do you do that? You have to be really precise, like going in between the bullets and all that stuff. And thankfully it didn't have a free play mode on it when I bought it, because I think I bought it for full price or close to full price for GameCube when it came out. And I just would play it over and over again and see like how much farther I could get. And I never made it that far. Like I never made it all the way through the game. It's way too hard, but at least I got my $50 worth or whatever, because I kept playing it over and over and over again and trying to get farther and farther, until I realized that it was just too hard and gave up on it. But yeah, it's cool. It's only $15. It's a lot cheaper than trying to get the GameCube game. That's for sure. I think that game's still going for like $60, which we've talked about before. But
I remember I had a friend, this is way back in the day, like the game had been out for a hot second, but it was probably like 2010 or 2011. No, it was before that. It was probably like 2009. I had a friend who had downloaded the demo on Xbox, because you could get a free demo of it on the 360.
Oh, Ikaruga? Yeah, it was it was originally a Dreamcast game. We talked about this before.
But yeah, anyway, so he made a bet. He was like $100 bet with his friend that, well, first off, I think he made the friend buy the actual game for him, but that he would beat it by the end of the summer.
And did he?
No.
I was going to say,
he had to give $100 to his friend.
I'll say it's pretty fucking hard, man.
But at least he got the game for free.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, it's hard.
But he didn't get it for free. He got it for, $98 or whatever the difference in cost was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
But it's literally the definition of bullet hell. This is like a bullet hell game.
Yeah, and apparently the game, it's possible to beat the game without shooting anybody. You can just go through and just eat bullets, or bullet eater, as they call it.
Wow.
You can go through the whole game without firing a single bullet, and you just...
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, you can, because you don't have to, because the guys will eventually go away. You just have to dodge them a bunch. Like, they dodge their actual bodies and flip from black to white to absorb all the bullets, but you can do the bullet eater mode where you don't shoot at all. Which I could never do that, but it is possible to do if you are so inclined. But it's
this being one of those games that would make sense to play in the vertical mode, do you lose, like, it would be nice to play it in vertical mode, but then you won't see all the detail on the smaller screen of all the little tiny bullets.
Yeah. Well, and also I noticed that when I was playing it on the TV, the font is fucking ridiculously small. Like it was like Xenoblade Chronicles X small.
Oh, no.
So I was like, what? Like when I turned on the game, I was like, oh, super tiny menus, cool. But it doesn't really matter because it's not about the font, it's about the game. And like playing the game, I could see all the bullets and all that. But I think I don't know. I mean, I haven't tried playing it handheld. Maybe I'll try using the Try one on it and do it vertical and all that. But I really wish that the guy who we were talking about, the guy who wrote that review on Curse of the Moon, Jeremy Parrish, would get that, vertical grip thing out by now. Apparently he's working on that with some other people. I added him on Twitter and he never responded to it, but maybe it's not done yet. But yeah, it would be really cool to be able to play it like with it actually, the Joy-Cons on the side. But yeah, I got that game. I played through it. I also got a game that's more expensive, but just as cool, I think. Well, if not cooler. I got the Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection, which has 12 games on it, even though a lot of them are similar to each other. There's 5 different versions of Street Fighter 2. Street Fighter 1 is on there. Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2, and 3 are on there. And Street Fighter 3 and 3 versions of Street Fighter 3 are on there. So
yeah,
it's totally worth it. I mean, and there's online play, of course, for like Street Fighter Alpha 3, Street Fighter 3 Third Strike, and I think Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. And there might be another version of Street Fighter 2 that you can do online. But yeah, there's a bunch of different online modes. I haven't even tried online yet. I've just been playing the regular thing and enjoying it. But it has some really cool stuff to it. There's different like backgrounds that you can have on there. You can change up the game. Like you can put like scan line filters and all that fun stuff on there. But one thing that really impressed me about it is once you change one thing on one game, it changes it on every game. Like I thought that was amazing. So like when I went to play Street Fighter 1, which is a terrible game, but I wanted to see what it was like arcade perfect, because I've only played the TurboGrafx version, the Fighting Street version, and I just wanted to play it, and I like went to rearrange all my buttons, and then I go to play another game and look at my buttons and they're all rearranged. I'm like, what? So it's really cool. And same with the display settings and all that changes through the different game. I think like a difficulty setting, you have to change individually for each game, but there's different stuff you can change for like how fast the turbo moves and like you can change like time, how long the time goes and like round time, whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to change on there. There's a lot of games to play. If you really like Street Fighter, it's totally worth it. And it's really cool to have like arcade perfect ports of these games like on the go, handheld. Like I had Street Fighter Alpha 3 for my Game Boy Advance and I played the shit out of that game. But it was a little bit less because it was a Game Boy Advance game. It didn't look as good as the arcade did, but this one looks phenomenal. It looks really good. It plays really well. I hate the control pad on the Pro controller, so that's kind of killing me. But I did buy that 8-bit-do thing. I'll have to like resync it back because I've been using it on my Super Nintendo Classic. But yeah, I do have that, so I'll have to get it back going. I want to get a adapter. I'm going to get like a USB adapter so I can use my arcade stick, my Tatsunoko arcade stick on there. But yeah, it's a really cool game. It's $40, but you get 12 games out of it. I think it's worth it. I'm a huge Street Fighter fan. I immediately deleted Ultra Street Fighter 2 after I got it because, that's like an 8 gig game and I need more space. And I was like, I'm never going to play this game because I have 5 different versions of Street Fighter 2 now. I don't have the stupid HD one that I never played on that one, but who needs that? I never liked this HD mode on there really. I prefer it regular. But yeah, it's cool. Street Fighter's out. That was one a big one for me. Plus there's like 2 more great games, supposedly great games coming out tomorrow too. It's been like a hell of a week for games. Yeah. Hell of a week to be broke too, right?
Right, man. That's how I feel.
Yeah, because like Just Shapes and Beats comes out tomorrow, and West of Loathing comes out tomorrow too, the stick figure game. So I don't know if I'll get Shapes and Beats or not. West of Loathing's only $11, so I might just get it just because it's so cheap. But yeah, they both look great. Shapes and Beats was something I kind of really wanted to get, the whole rhythm side scroller or whatever it is, or rhythm blaster. It looks tough as fuck from what I saw of it. But we got that coming out, and those are the big releases for the week. What would be your pick of the week if you'd pick one for this week, Jeremy?
Of everything that came out already, or that's about to come out?
About everything that came out this week, or that is coming out this week.
I mean, I'd have to say Curse of the Moon.
Yeah, well, that was last week. That was my pick of last week.
Pick of this week? Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'd say Shapes and Beats. What's the game called?
I think it's called Just Shapes and Beats.
Yeah, Just Shapes and Beats. That's the one I want to play.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I mean, my instant pick of the week would say it would be Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. But that is kind of a re-release of older stuff, even though it is a great package. And you can actually look at all the different sprites of all the characters and all there and stuff. And there's like documentaries on the games and whatnot that you can watch. But if you're going for like newer stuff, probably Just Shapes and Beats. I don't know, unless West of Loathing's really cool. I couldn't really tell what that game was about, but I might check it out tomorrow. But yeah, it's pretty good week. And there's also been a lot of news stuff. So do you want to jump to that?
Yeah.
All right. Here is the news. I promise you it's the news. So yeah, it's been a crazy news week. There was that big Pokemon event that happened Tuesday night, which I didn't watch it, but you said you watched a live tweet feed of it.
Yeah, so I actually did retweet some things, hoping maybe people would notice, but I think everybody was just retweeting this guy anyway. So let me go find his name real quick.
I saw some of your tweets, but you said the Pokemon Minecraft one, which we talked about earlier, of course.
Okay, yeah, his name's Yuji Nakamura, and he works for Bloomberg in Tokyo. He's their tech reporter. So I saw on Reddit follow this guy for the live tweet, and he's the tech reporter in Tokyo for Bloomberg. So I was like, that seems pretty legit. He's probably actually there, and he was live tweeting it. So I was actually recording a video of me playing Sonic Racing, trying to unlock Danica Patrick, and then I was commenting on the Twitter as I was playing, reading it out loud and then retweeting it.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah, so a couple things were announced. Like I said, we already did Pokemon Quest, but I never reported on it. It was leaked before. We never reported on it. We didn't report on it because I, for one, don't like to report on leaks because I don't think that's really news. But we never talked about Hey You, whatever it's called. Let's go Pikachu, let's go Eevee, right? Or Hey, let's go, whatever the fuck it's called.
Let's get the hell out of here, Machop. Oh shit, we forgot Charizard.
Let's get the fuck out of here, Conkeldurr.
Have you seen my
Magmar?
Have you seen my Magmar?
Have you seen my Trubbish? Is that the trash one? I love that guy. Yeah, it's called I already forgot.
That's been a Twitter meme of extensions of, cause it's let's go Pikachu.
Yeah, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee is what it's called.
And then people are like, let's get out of here, Machop. And they just kept expanding it. So I was like, well, the natural progression would be eventually you forgot your Pokemon. You left without them.
Yeah. Let's get out of here, Magmar, where are you? Oh no, he's gone. He burned through the ground. We weren't paying attention. He just was standing one place for too long, and he just he's in the middle of the earth now. But yeah, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee. That's a real thing. Apparently it's it looks like all the other Pokemon games, but it's not. It's not as I'm still kind of not fully sure exactly what it is. I mean, I guess there's some RPG turn-based battles in there, but you can't find Pokemon in the wild like you normally would. You have to throw a Pokeball, but you don't have to do that with the motion control, but you can. You only use one Joy-Con to control it, but you can use two Joy-Cons to have a friend play too, where you can both battle at the same time or something. I don't know. I'm intrigued by it just because it's Pokemon on Switch and it looks cool and it looks kind of like a regular Pokemon game. But apparently the actual sequel to Pokemon is coming out next year. That's Gen 8 or 9 or whatever generation we're on now. That's the big one that's coming out next year. But this one's coming out November 16th this year.
And it's it's so gimmicky.
And it's so weird. And there's even a Pokeball controller that you can get. That's that's a ball with a little, it's like a Joy-Con, I guess. It's first,
it's a Joy-Con.
Yeah, one of the first periphery, Joy-Con stuff, right? That they're additional, whatever.
Well, it's the first one.
Yeah.
Besides the Pro Controller itself.
Well, besides the colored ones, this is actually one that's different.
Yeah.
Have you looked at all of it? It has to have buttons on the bottom of it, right? Because all I've
only
seen is it just shows
the joystick on it.
Yeah, but it has to have buttons because you do use buttons in the game. But yeah, it's a ball controller with a stick on it. And if you watch the video, the trailer for it, it basically shows you can put a Pokemon in there and you can take this ball with you. And the ball talks to you, and it'll HD rumble around like there's a Pokemon in there. It's so weird. So you can take it on walks and stuff, I guess, and it'll measure your whatever. It's like a Fitbit, and it can tell you how long you walked with your Magmar or whatever you have in there.
Right. Well, and it interfaces with your phone too, so you can use it as the that Pokemon bracelet thing they had for Pokemon Go. You can use the
can you
controller that way? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can. I know that you can. That you can take Pokemon that you have on Pokemon Go and put them on Let's Go, and vice versa. And you can take Pokemon from Let's Go and put it on
anybody that's
Pokemon Go. But I don't think you can
stuck to playing Pokemon Go. They're going to be happy.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. It's supposed to be an easier version of Pokemon to get all the Pokemon Go people to buy a Switch. I mean, interested in it enough to check it out. I'm sure we'll be seeing like a lot more like in the E3, like on, I'm sure they'll be doing that with their Treehouse Day or whatever. I'm sure we'll see more stuff on the 12th. But yeah, that's what that is. It's the leaks were all true, but I guess to a point, because some of them said that it was going to be more like the regular Pokemon. But it looks the same as Pokemon Yellow, like the worlds do, and like the way everything's laid out. So you got that Mewtwo's going to be in there, Team Rocket's going to be in there. So you get the classic 151 Pokemon and all that, the first generation, which, is my favorite generation, whatever. You can call me a Gen 1er or whatever. But, this is kind of the one that I spent the most time in, and that's the one where I felt like, and I do like a lot of the newer Pokemon, I just felt like those were kind of like the most creative, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee and like Wigglytuff, like Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff and all that. I thought those were really cute, Even though I do really like Chandelure and Trubbish and all those later weird ones. But, it's very, I guess it's nostalgic to see like the original generation and all that. But hey, I'm into playing it. I just hope that there's some actual RPG stuff to it. I don't want to just go around and just throw balls at Pokemon and collect them and not actually get to do any fighting or whatever. So we'll kind of see how much depth is to it. But that's the big news for this week, I guess.
Yeah, Pokemon dropped a big Pokemon log on everybody.
Yeah, so they did the
check out all this Pokemon shit.
Yeah. Well, speaking of, there's some news that we didn't talk about last week that I guess we could have talked and stuff that we got at the beginning, but I don't want to forget about it. Resident Evil 7 Cloud, or Biohazard 7 Cloud, I guess, in Japan is available. And if you have a Japanese account, you can just get on and get it. And that's another thing that you don't have to pay for. Thankfully, because it runs like ass. Jeremy and I have both played it, and actually if you go to my Twitter, NintenDomain, I recorded a video of the opening cutscene just running as awful as it normally does, so you can watch that and get an idea out of it. But I did figure out how to turn it on to English, so it speaks in English in the cutscenes. And I think I got about as far as I got was when it shows the road. Like, it shows her talking and then the road. But it's weird because it doesn't really save, so it I guess if you get to a save point, you might save, but it kept kicking me out and I'd have to start the whole game over again. But yeah, if you want to try out, this Pokemon, or not Pokemon, you want to try out Biohazard 7 Cloud, you can. It's just, thankfully they didn't charge anything for it. But yeah, what a weird game.
I tried it twice and it froze the exact same spot both times, so that's why I gave up. I figured proof was in the pudding, it wasn't going to work.
Yeah, mine kind of froze in different spots, and I wanted to try. I have the SD, or I have the USB adapter that I use for the Wii, where it's like Ethernet to USB adapter, and it works on the Switch. So I was going to try to plug it directly into the modem and see if that helps at all. But it's kind of it reminds me of PlayStation Now, or if you ever go to those hotels where you have the video game systems in there that stream and they don't work well ever, Mm-hmm. It's kind of like that. I don't really understand the whole streaming thing because it seems to always suck every time I play it. I can only imagine trying to actually play it, but it looks fine. His girlfriend looks completely like a uncanny valley person. You can see that. That's the way it looked in the regular game, I guess. That opening scene, she looks probably as frightening as the zombies do. Just the way.
Oh, right. And then imagine that in VR.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I've heard it's great in VR, but it was definitely reminded me of the weird ass puppets from Dark Crystal, or just all that, like you're saying, uncanny, or like you've said before, uncanny valley, weird ass. There's a term for that, for being afraid of things that are supposed to be human but weirdly look not human. I have a fear of that, I guess, because things like that weird me out. Even though I thought the characters looked fine in Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Your brain pays attention to a lot more details than you realize, so.
Yeah.
When a facial model is not moving correctly, your brain immediately is something's wrong here.
Yeah. So, just looking at that, I'm oh, this looks really weird. But yeah, that's available. You can check it out, if you want to. It's free. You can do it if you have a Japanese account. Just go for it. I don't necessarily recommend it, but I'll try it again and see if I can get it to work. It's a cool idea. I just wish it actually worked. But
it's free, so try it if you want.
Yeah, free, go for it.
Not even make it through the cinematic.
Yeah, and I didn't either. I'd like to get to a part where I actually moved around to see what that would do, but nope, didn't do it. But speaking of cool games that you can move around in, sort of, they're doing the remake of Killer 7. Killer 7 is getting a remake on Steam as of right now. There's no announcement for consoles, but it'd really be dumb if it's not coming to the Switch. That's a game that I would really, really love to see in the Switch because I love that game. It's an awesome game. Should definitely check it out. We talked about Team Sonic already. Team Sonic Racing got announced. It's coming out in the winter. Mega Man 11 has a release date, comes out October 2nd. So you get that to look forward to. There's a new Lego game, Lego DC Supervillains, coming out October 16th. I don't know if I'm going to get into that or not, but that's coming out. The tennis demo did come out, sort of, the Mario Tennis Aces, except you can't play it yet. Do you know what's up with that? Are we going to be able to play that this weekend? I thought you said earlier that you thought maybe it was.
June 1st is when you could start playing the tournaments.
Okay. Well, if it is, we'll have to play some stuff on Friday and post it. But I'd really like to play that game. You know, it looks cool, and I'd like to play the demo. I was really excited when the demo came up on Thursday because I'm like, oh, cool, I'll play this when I play like Baobab and all that other stuff. And it didn't work. So it was a bummer. But yeah, we got that around the corner, hopefully, so we can get into that soon.
And I don't think we mentioned. Did we mention the Sushi Striker demo?
Oh, no, yeah, Sushi Striker demo's out now, too. We didn't mention it last week, but we did play it. That's another video on YouTube that you can check out. But yeah, we played through the opening part. What is there, like 6 or 7 levels on there, I think? Would you say that we played through before it stopped you? It's got high production values, like some very well animated anime stuff. The way the story works, it kind of reminds me a lot of Puyo Tetris, where it's like, you know, there's a map and you go to one thing and somebody's like, blah, 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 there's a problem, and then you do a puzzle. And then you go to the next thing, and it's blah, 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 and there's another thing, and you do a puzzle. It reminds me of the structure of the story mode of Puyo Tetris. I don't know if it seems like asking for 50, I guess, is kind of a lot for a game like that, but it does, I mean, you can tell they put a lot of time into it. I'm not really convinced whether the puzzle mechanic like works or not. I feel like stuff like that, you kind of it has to get into the harder levels to where you can really like feel the goodness of it. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of how I feel with puzzle games. That's why I had a hard time getting into the breakdancing game, the Break Kids or whatever it's called, Floor Kids. I had a hard time getting into that because that game was never hard. Like, you could never lose, so I never really found, like, I couldn't really figure out how to play it, so I couldn't really get into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I kind of quit playing that, too.
I feel like that's how any good rhythm game or any good, like, puzzle game works, is when you get into the challenging stuff and you understand the way it works, and you're actually able to do it. That's where the fun comes from, for me, you know, but, yeah. So, I mean, that's what I'm hoping for. It's kind of weird, you know, you like it reminds me a lot of conveyor belt sushi, which we've done a lot, which Jess and I have done a lot of times, where you like, you know, buy the different sushi and different colored plates, and they count the plates at the end, and you pay an amount of money depending on what colors. Because this one you can only select the same colors at the same time, and then you stack plates, and then you shoot the plate at the other guy, and that's how you win, I guess. And there's like, you get extra sushi, whatever they call them. There's like some extra sushi stuff going on in there where, what do you call them? Sushi sprites? Yeah, you get sushi sprites that give you like new abilities whenever you get them. So like, there's one guy that like turns all of your plates into, the same color plate, and then you can grab a bunch and attack in that way. And there's another guy that like slows them down, something like that. I don't know. I thought it was an okay demo, but I'm not fully convinced on the game. How about you? I'm
not fully convinced at that price. I do think it's fun though, and I think I would have liked to have kept playing. Like, it ended on the note of like, I want to keep playing. Oh shit, I can't keep playing, and I was disappointed.
Yeah.
That's a good sign with the demo.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, I definitely would have played more if it was possible, but it wasn't. But is there any news that I forgot? I'm sure there'll be something that I'll remember when I'm editing, but I think that's all I have notes for as of right now.
Yeah. Just like the demos, we talked about the demos. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is confirmed. I did look it up. That is starting at 9 p.m. Eastern on Friday. So what time would that be for us?
What is? Oh, 9 p.m. Eastern. That's 8. That's 8 o'clock.
Cool. Friday. Yeah. Starting Friday night until I think sometime Sunday we can play.
Okay.
Mario Tennis.
Yeah. So we'll probably play it like 2, like we normally do, like 1 or 2 in the morning. So yeah, that'll be fun. I can't wait to play tennis. I'm excited about Tennis Aces. I think it looks like a cool game.
It says you get to play, online tournaments against people, and you can unlock extra characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can play, you can still play one-on-one against the computer if you want to play that way.
Oh, okay. So you can do some like practice and whatnot.
Yeah.
Can we do like doubles, like online doubles or something
like
that?
I'm not sure of.
Where you can meet up with your friend and like play cooperatively?
Right, and I'm not sure about all those details, but yeah, I've got it pre-downloaded on my Switch just so it's ready to go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have the demo, whatever's downloaded on there. Whenever it's available to use, we'll use it. Cool. Well, do you want to take a break and then we'll talk racing games?
Let's do it.
One box could leave you messed up and fractured. Block these uppercuts, they may need you captured. May the best fighter win and win again. Battle to the top until his life ends. But if his life ends and he starts to decay, may one of his street soldiers avenge me. See you talking to the game, couldn't be talking to me. I got enough to beat and more soldiers to bury. You know we just clicked in and made you realize this game is twice as hard. You see that with your own eyes. You're on the way to choose your type of life cause you gotta. I tell you from now, which fighter will be the hotter. I don't think you want this one, just practice. Just challenge me when you're ready with your tactics. High punch, spin kicks, watch your back split. I see you in the air when I make your back flip. Select to make your first pick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Choose and pick the best one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Select to make your first
So Jeremy and I, we were at the Indy 500 a couple days ago, like we said, on the 27th, Memorial Day weekend. And we kind of thought about it before we went. There's actually a pretty awesome video on there that Jeremy edited with some with a soundtrack that you can watch on YouTube. Oh yeah, and John came back from fighting the eels in Super Mario 64. He's here now for our topic of the show.
Late to the party hitter.
Yeah, John late to the party. He's here. We caught him. We pulled him out of the water, and he's okay. Those giant eels with the stars in their tails have not killed him, so he's good.
Yep.
But yeah, so we
survived.
So we were talking about, since we were going to a race, we were like, oh, we should do some sort of racing episode. So since we're in the 500, I was like, I wanted to think of some games that maybe had like some cars in there, like something. I didn't want to do like a top 5 racers because that's going to be all Nintendo games. It'll be mostly like Mario Kart and stuff like that. So I was like, why don't we do a top 5 racing games, like non-Nintendo racing games, but are still on Nintendo games, of course, because we're a Nintendo show. But, so I came up with a list. I can just go through my list and you guys can add to it. I don't know if you had a full 5 list, top 5, but that's fine if you don't.
I've got a couple additions to your list, but not a full top 5.
Sure. And, and John has some extra and stuff like that. Let's just, I guess I'll just go and do my 5. And then if you guys think of a 5 after that, you can do one, or you can just add stuff to it. And that's what we'll do. And I'm gonna play parts of it and see if you can guess it, I guess, while we do it here. So here's, starting off with number 5. This one's pretty obscure, so you're probably not gonna guess it, but number 5.
Hey yo, Jim, man, why don't you kick some of that, you know? You know how you do it, man. It's a trip, people don't even believe we're together right now. But tell your story, you know the one I like. Say it for me. Riders on the storm.
It's kind of it's hard to pick out because it's not really a song that's like made specifically for the game, I guess. But
I think Jim Morrison recorded that specifically for a GameCube game, didn't he?
Yeah. No, this is this song is from Need for Speed Underground 2, which was a game that actually was the only Need for Speed that I actually really liked playing. It was in GameCube time. It was on GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox. And it was actually an open world game where you could drive from one race to another, and I thought that was really fun. I actually bought a really cheap version of it later, and I do have it now.
I played that one on PS2. I really liked it. I played that for quite a while, actually.
It was kind of like there was sort of an open map. You could travel from race to race.
Oh, no, there totally was. Yeah, it was an open world game. That's why I liked it so much.
Yeah, and you could be chased by the cops and everything, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah.
Can you be a cop, too?
I don't know. I didn't get all the way through it, but I really enjoyed playing it, so that was my number 5.
My brother was really into those games.
Yeah.
And he always tried to get me to play them, but I never played those Need for Speed games.
Well, I think that one's probably the best one, or at least that's the one that I like the most because of the open world aspect. And I was really excited about it because I bought that one and played it for a while, and I was like, oh, there's a Need for Speed game for Wii U. So I went and bought Need for Speed U for like nothing, and there's no map on that one. There's no open world or whatever, and I was like, this sucks. So
my favorite part about that game was the chases. I thought the chases were really cool. It was exciting.
Yeah, and you get, it's like events, it's like you go do one thing and then you'll get a call on the phone that's like, hey, go to this other thing. Or it'll be like, oh, the cops are chasing you, gotta get away from them and get to this next thing. So it did a really good way of like, making like a regular car racer interesting to me because I'm not really into like GT, whatever, or like Forza or whatever. I don't really care about cars that much, about like regular cars that don't shoot shells or whatever, so.
So it's a little bit like Grand Theft Auto without the being on foot.
Yeah.
Just all your missions, you just stay in the car.
Yeah.
And you just go to your missions.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I definitely felt the imprint of Grand Theft Auto on that game.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I mean, it was probably... It was definitely post Grand Theft Auto 3. Like, they had already done the 3D Grand Theft Auto by that time. But yeah, it was cool. It was like like I said, it was the only type of game that I liked. And you can buy new cars, whatever. But yeah, that's my number 5. Need for Speed Underground 2. Anyway, on to number 4. This one you'll definitely get. Number 4.
That's also Jim Morrison.
Yeah. I know you know the song. Don't pretend you don't. That's Episode 1 Racer on Nintendo 64, which was a great game to come out of a terrible movie, but you know, it happens. But I did really enjoy that game and had a lot of good time with it. And it did have multiplayer. It had a split screen, so you could play two players at once.
Your Honor. The pod racing scene was kind of cool.
Yeah. Clerk's cartoon show, which it was pretty cool, man. No, I remember reading IGN originally when they said that the new Star Wars game for the new movie was going to be based on a sporting event from the movie, and I was like, what? I was like, there's no sports in Star Wars. And I felt...
There's that basketball jam scene.
But I felt like so upset about it, but then it ended up being this racing game, and even though I was pretty disappointed by Episode 1,
there was a Darth Maul's dual bat baseball.
Yeah, I did like that game, though. I mean, out of all the crappy games that they made, like, it's way better than PlayStation 1 Episode 1 game. That game's awful, you know. But it's actually a good game. Like, it was fun. There was an arcade mode of it made later, you know, and there's, like, HD versions of it you can play. But I don't know if either of you guys played that game. But I
remember playing it on the 64. Yeah, no. I thought that was fun too.
Yeah, I thought it still holds up well. You could be Sebulba and other people in there, and you can go to other races other than just the Tatooine one. So
I need to get
and the HD version is out now on Steam, I think, right? Like
yeah,
this week.
Yeah, no, there is an HD version of it that you can get. But yeah, you can probably buy the. What's up?
John said it just came out for Steam this week.
I think it was pretty recent, if not this week, like a month ago or so.
Oh, I feel like it was. I think it was like a while ago.
Came out not that long ago.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, you can probably buy it for 64 for not a whole lot, but it's cool. I like that game, and I like Battle for Naboo. That was another it's not a racing game, but that was another Episode 1 game that was okay. That was a 64 game. But yeah, that's my number 4. It's Episode 1, and now let's go to number 3. Can you guess this one?
Cruising USA.
No, Beetle Adventure Racing. It's close though. That's my number 3. That game was really fun. I remember actually renting that, and it was actually another game that that was like a car racer, but they made it exciting because there were like branching pathways, and like you could like race through haunted houses, and there was like a Jurassic Park level and like other weird shit like that.
It's one of our first gameplay videos that we posted to YouTube also.
That's true, because Jess bought that for me for like, I don't know, a birthday or Christmas or something. I got that as a present, and we did one of our first like Let's Plays that we ever did when I first like recorded a video game thing on my computer was a Beetle Adventure Racing. You can find it on our YouTube if you go way back when.
Sofa Edition.
Yeah, Sofa Edition. I came up with that because, well, that was before we figured out how to like make videos like through the internet and all that, like we're doing now. But yeah, it was cool. Sofa Edition was something I wanted to do with like everyone, but it was I only did those few videos. But yeah, Beetle Adventure Racing is fun. It was
a really fun game. I remember being impressed by the visuals on that game, because didn't it require the expansion pack?
I don't know if it did or not. It might have. I mean,
It was kind of a late release, so it might have.
It doesn't seem like It doesn't seem like the kind of game that would rely on that, though. I guess just because of the. But you never know. I mean, here, let me look right now, actually, and then we'll know.
There weren't many games that required the expansion pack, really, though.
Well, like Turok did, and Rogue Squadron did, and Majora's Mask and Donkey Kong 64.
Donkey Kong.
what I remember most about Beetle Adventure Racing is that I got it, I think, for my birthday.
Oh, you did get it?
And then very shortly later, like maybe 3 or 4 months, I got my Dreamcast, and I wanted to get Sonic Adventure 2. I wanted it bad enough that I traded in Beetle Adventure Racing just to get the Sonic Adventure 2. But
how do you feel about that decision?
I feel like I should never trade in my games because I miss Beetle Adventure Racing.
Yeah, you can get it. You can get it really cheap. I think you can buy it for like $10,
super cheap, if
even that. Like it's not an expensive game. You can totally buy it back if you want to buy it back. But yeah, you should never. I'm of the belief that you should never trade in games. Like I sold a lot of my Super Nintendo games, and that like made me sad. But hard times, or what do you say? Desperate times come for desperate measures.
Desperate times.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's necessarily better. I think it's better than, I don't know. They're completely different games. I mean, Sonic Adventure 2 has its own merits, I think.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I like it. I mean, I never really played 1, but I do enjoy Adventure 2. I mean, I had Adventure 2 for GameCube and traded it in and rebought it recently, so, you know.
I think Adventure 2 is the best of the 3D Sonic games. But
I don't know about that. I don't know if it's the best. I think you think it's the best because of nostalgia, but I think that Sonic Colors and Sonic Heroes are probably both better games.
I never played either of those.
Yeah, they were both games that were released later, and I think they both play better than... I mean, there's no levels where you have to search for gems. There's no, like, sort of really bad third-person shooting levels involving, like, Eggman or Miles. Like, there's none of that shit. It's just 3D Sonic levels.
Sonic Adventure 2 is one of the best. I'm completely skipping all those levels. Just the Sonic levels and the Shadow levels.
That's what I'm saying. That's why those other ones are better.
Yeah.
That's why Sonic Heroes and Sonic Colors are better. Because because it's all Sonic levels. And you don't have to do all this stupid other shit where you have to hunt things. So that's why, yeah. Both of those are good. Sonic Heroes for GameCube is pretty cheap. I bought that game and played it and thought it was good. I actually have Sonic Colors for Wii and I haven't played it yet, but I hear it's good. It looks good from what I've seen. I can already say
I'm
that.
looking at a list here. The only 3 games that required the expansion pack were Donkey Kong and Majora's Mask and Perfect Dark, but I don't think you needed the expansion pack.
That is incorrect, sir. Rogue Squadron used it, and I guess it used it to look better.
That required it.
Required it, yeah, okay. And I was looking on Wikipedia, and Beetle Adventure Racing said that they wish they would have used it, but they didn't. The company who did it.
Oh.
They said they
just looked good.
I was looking up that required it.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah, I thought you were saying like what used it, because I know because Rogue Squadron didn't run very well if you didn't have it. Because I remember a friend of mine got it and played it without.
Perfect Dark, you didn't need it, but you couldn't play. I don't think it was either you couldn't play single player or you couldn't play multiplayer without it. I can't remember.
I think you could play because I remember that people at the dorms that we were at, they would play it they would totally play it like 4-player. With like a bunch of bots, and it ran awful, and they still did it anyway. I think it was the single player that used it, but yeah, which was kind of funny the way that game worked, where it's like, oh yeah, you can do it this way, and you can do it like this, and it'll run like shit, but you can still do it if you want to. But yeah, those are the ones that completely required it. Well, Conquer too, right? Conquer's Bad Fur Day required it, I believe.
Yeah, I think it did.
Yeah. I think you had to have it for Conquer. That's not on that list. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, next, number 2, probably the best song and the best worst song on here. You should know this one. Yes, that's from Konami Crazy Racers on Game Boy Advance. Probably the best kart racer for Game Boy Advance. You can buy it on Wii U on Virtual Console if you haven't had it. You haven't bought it.
What was it called?
Konami Crazy Racers.
Konami Crazy Racers.
Yeah. It has, there's levels in there from Mystical Ninja. There's levels in there from Castlevania. There's, other Konami levels in there. I think there's some Metal Gear stuff in there as well. But yeah, no.
Sounds pretty good for a Game Boy Advance game, that song.
Yeah, no, that's the theme song. is the My Racer. It doesn't. I never really knew what it meant, but it caught. Like I heard that it was great, and I bought it later. Like I bought it for the Wii U, like for Virtual Console, And, because I read a lot of great reviews of it, and I played it, and like when I turned it on, it like goes right into that song, and I'm like, oh, I didn't expect that. But it's cool. You can unlock all of the mystical ninja dudes and whatnot as characters, and yeah, it's a pretty much it's like a kart racing game, but there's different stuff. Like there's different modes that you can do to unlock different things. It's not just Grand Prix and whatnot. But it was probably the best of those, of the Mode 7 racing type games on there. And it's super fun. There's a lot of cool Castlevania levels and whatnot. I say check it out. I don't know what the actual Game Boy Advance game is going for, but you can get it for $8 on Wii U if you happen to have a Wii U. I remember playing it at Jeremy's house way back when, like when I was over there at one point, like after I got it, I think I showed it to you. But yeah, look, it looks real cool. That's my number 2 of racing games that aren't Nintendo made. And
it's pretty cool. It's on the Wii U Virtual Console.
Yeah, so
it's worth checking out.
Yeah, it's easy to get, and it's only $8, and it's totally worth it. It's a lot of fun to play. I kind of wish I would have, and I feel like it was an early release on the Game Boy. Maybe I read that somewhere. Because I know that we had it in an episode before, but I don't remember why. It might have been because it was in like release window or something of the Game Boy Advance, because we did do a Game Boy Advance launch episode.
We did.
Yeah, it came out June 11th, 2001. When did the Game Boy Advance launch? Wasn't that around 2000?
2001.
Yeah, it was earlier in the year though, just a couple months.
Okay, because it came out in March in Japan, so maybe it was a launch or like launch window in Japan. I just remember it being pretty early in the system. But yeah, it's available on the Wii U. It came out in 2015 for Wii U, including levels from Castlevania, Metal Gear, and Gradius. You can even race as the ship from Gradius, which I thought was hilarious. So there's fun stuff like that in there. But yeah, it's a cool game. It's a cool game to check out. Anyway, this is my number 1, which we talked about earlier, but it's still a good one. That's Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing Transformed right there, which I got for Wii U. I remember it being an early Wii U game, probably like the only racing game for a while before Mario Kart 8. But it's a cool game. It involves, a Sonic, Alex Kidd's in there, like the Space Channel 5 people are in there. There's a Jet Grind radio characters. You can even be Rio from Shenmue. Yeah, he's in there. He drives a forklift, which is pretty hilarious. Yeah, he does. And Vice from Skies of Arcadia is in there also. So it's like lots of cool characters. I think you can even be the VMU. At least we thought maybe we saw somebody being the VMU when we were playing online.
Yeah, you can be Knights.
Yeah. And you can be Knights also. Different Knights characters. And you can
be also be
Crazy Taxi drivers. You can be them too. They're in there.
And then you could be Danica Patrick.
And Danica Patrick and Wreck-It Ralph. Weird characters to be in the game, but...
Trey and I actually saw Danica Patrick's last race.
We did. She crashed out.
A connection.
Yeah. And no, I did not throw a banana peel at her. I would never throw a banana peel at anybody who appeared on a racing game with Sonic.
What turn? She was like on turn 2 or 3, I can't remember, but it wasn't by us.
You weren't here for our news segment, but that Sonic racing game that was teased before has a name. It's called Sonic Team Racing, and it's coming out.
Sonic Team Racing.
It's coming out in winter. It's coming out this winter, and it's coming out for Switch. And we were trying to speculate whether it will have anything to do with this game, with the Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing game. I'm thinking probably...
I think it's just going to be the guys from Sonic Team. That's all the characters. Sonic won't be in it.
Yeah, see, that's what... No, Sonic will be in it. Because he's in the teaser trailer.
Oh, okay.
Because the teaser trailer shows him and Shadow racing each other in cars that look the same as the cars from these games, from the Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing games. That's what I
thought it was going to be like Yuji Naka.
It's just the developers.
All those guys.
That would be
the little asterisk at the bottom. Sonic not included.
That would be funny, but no. Sonic and Shadow are already confirmed to be in there. It's kind of... I don't really understand why they won't just go... They should just make another Sonic and Sega All-Stars racing game. Because I like having the whole team on there, you know? I mean, Sega has enough characters that you can totally do that. There's characters from Golden Axe in there as well, you know? And all the levels are really cool. There's like a full-on Knights level where you can where most of it's flying. Like there's a Transformed kind of did the thing that Mario Kart 8 did before Mario Kart 8 did, where it's like, you're in a boat and then you're in the sky and then you're, and then you're regular karting. So there's like all these different stuff that changes depending on where you're at. But it's a lot of fun. Like Jeremy and I were playing it online and the online mode still works. We played it earlier today. Mm-hmm. So, and
there's a lot of giant set pieces on each of the tracks that are happening around the action, which is really cool because the track changes. Each lap will be different,
mm-hmm.
which Mario Kart 8 does occasionally, but
some laps.
Well, actually,
but not all
no, yeah, not really. Actually, it does it there's some courses that are just one giant race,
mm-hmm.
and they aren't laps, but no, this will actually change the path of the course and how your vehicle operates based on how the track works. So
mm-hmm.
it's pretty cool. I really like it.
Yeah, I remember John and I, you played the first one with me. You played the Wii one. I remember whenever, I think the last time you were in Chicago before you disappeared for however long. I remember playing the very first one with you because I bought that one and it was a lot of fun and I traded it in for some reason and I only have the Transformed one now, but I'd like to get that one. You can buy it for $10 on eBay. It's super cheap, but it's cool. It's like I said, there's these crazy Samba de Amigo levels. You can be him too. You can be Amigo as a racer.
Yeah.
And there's we were playing a level earlier where these giant heads are floating around and there's all these musical notes and it's pretty creepy and it's crazy it's pretty out there. It's it's very, very drugged out and fun stuff. And then it's like if you were racing through Toontown in Roger Rabbit is basically what it feels like. Everything's all crazy and all that super psychedelic, super fun, trippy stuff.
Yeah, I remember playing the Wii one with you, and then I got to try the demo when I went to Comic-Con for the Wii U version.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a whole setup at Comic-Con with a bunch of different consoles and TVs set up.
Mm-hmm.
So you could sit in the race car and drive.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and I also got that was the event where I met Craig Harris from IGN.
Oh yeah, you're like, hey Craig, what do you think about this? This was before he worked for Sega, or no? Was he working for Sega?
That was when he worked for Sega.
Okay.
Yeah,
because I think he still does. Okay. I think he still works for Sega now. But yeah, so
see his name on the back of this disc.
You see him on the Transformed, or no?
No, I don't.
Oh well, it's probably in the liner notes of the book or something, the instruction book. But yeah, that's a cool game. Jeremy said earlier he bought it. What was it? $16 used?
17.
So it's a good deal. You can buy it for 30 on the Wii Shop, I guess, on the eShop. But yeah, that's my top 5 games, or top 5 racer games that weren't made by Nintendo. Do you guys have anything to add, or do you have your own top 5?
So I didn't have anything huge to add. I wanted to mention it's also a Sega game.
Is it
this game? It came out for GameCube.
Is it this game?
Sure is. So yeah, these characters are actually also in Sonic All-Star Racing. Mimi and Ai, not Gon and Baby. They're not. They're dead, I guess. But
well, you can always unlock them. We didn't unlock everybody.
Gon is Gon.
Yeah,
I like
Baby
Gon.
Is not a baby no more.
We're talking about this song in particular is from Super Monkey Ball 2. Were there?
I'm talking about racing in Super Monkey Ball 2. It was once again, it was in the case of the GameCube, it came out before the Double Dash did. So it was the first racing game like that we had. So we just had to play that, and it had power-ups. You could shoot stuff at each other. You could drop, I can't remember if it was oil stains. There was something instead of banana peels that you dropped.
Yeah, there was something you could throw behind you. Yeah,
but it was totally like Mario Kart Lite before Double Dash came out, and Double Dash was a lot of fun. It finally came out, but before that, there's Super Monkey Ball 2, Monkey Race.
Yeah, there was some really fun items that you could use on there. I remember there was something you could do to freeze your guy to turn it into a ball that doesn't roll that well. Do you remember that? And there was
the wonky ball.
Yeah, the wonky ball. I think that's what we called it, but that's the one I remember probably more than anything on that. And I think you could turn yourself into an ice cube too. But, no, it had some cool power-ups, and it was fun. And I don't think, am I right? Was there not racing in Monkey 1? Like, wasn't that only added for 2?
Yeah, I think Monkey 1 just had the target and the bowling and
boxing. And, like, well, the fight, the monkey fight where you, like, punch people off
I don't think Pool was in there either. Was Pool in the first one?
No, I don't think Pool was there. It was just, I think the first one was just bowling and target and the fighting one with the punching glove. So, racing and Pool and all that other fun stuff was added to the second one. That second game was really fun. Like, I like Monkey Ball 2 a lot. I wish
they put a lot into it. Like, why so much content? I don't know, but thanks.
We should do a whole episode. We could do a whole episode about Monkey Ball in the future. I would totally do that. Cause I played a lot of them. Like, I played Monkey Ball Touch and Go. I played Monkey Ball Banana Blitz. I even bought the Monkey Ball Adventure game for GameCube, which I think I returned pretty quickly because it wasn't very good.
Monkey Ball Junior.
I heard it was pretty bad.
Yeah. But the Monkey Ball Game Boy Advance game that you're talking about, that one's really good. I was really impressed by like how 3D the bowling was on that. But then it kind of dropped off after that. I mean, I thought Banana Blitz was alright for a Wii release. Like, the levels were really cool, but didn't really hear much about Monkey Ball after that. But
I liked Banana Blitz quite a bit, actually. I thought it was great. I liked how you could
They controlled the world with
the level. I thought that was perfect.
Oh no, I think I played through the whole game. Like, I think I beat all of it. And it had some had some fun like mini games on there that were like just kind of testing out the motion control and all that. It wasn't as good as like WarioWare, which came out later.
Oh yeah, most of the mini games on that one were trash.
Yeah. Like, I remember the Dart game was like okay, I think maybe, but yeah, a lot of them were pretty bad. But yeah, the single player game was cool. But yeah, no, we could do a whole episode on Monkey Ball in the future. I'd be down for that. But do you guys have anything else to add for the racers?
My favorite non-Nintendo racing game on a Nintendo system, San Francisco Rush.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that one.
Love that game.
Yeah, no, you've talked about it before. Is there racing in that, or is it just tricks? Or there's both, right?
Yeah, it's all racing. That's what the main gist of it is.
Okay.
But of course, the whole appeal was the unrealistic moon-like gravity, where if you hit a single bump, all of a sudden you're flying 20 feet in the air.
Oh, okay.
And if you're speeding, at full speed, and you go up a ramp, I mean, you could sail like 100 feet in the air. I'd never seen that in a game before, especially because that was one of the earlier N64 releases, so I was still just getting used to 3D graphics and everything. And then just to be like sailing in the air for like, it just felt like you were up in the air for like a full 20 seconds or so. That was amazing.
Yeah. I'm sure it was a big deal at the time.
It was really cool. And you could like crash through the windows and find all kinds of cool shortcuts, do flips, and yeah, I just love that game. And it's probably one of my top most played N64 games.
Okay. Do you still own it? Do you still have that game?
I still have it, yeah. Yeah, I still have it.
Okay.
And, San Francisco Rush 2049 came out later and improved it. It's the better game, objectively, but subjectively, I just have the memories of, San Francisco Rush, the original. One of my favorite memories was, there's one level where you're driving along, like a mountainside, and I could notice, like, something weird about, there was like a little divot in the mountain. I was like, oh, what is that? And I drove toward it and realized that I found an entrance into basically a playground. And it's one of my favorite Easter eggs, probably in any video game.
Yeah.
Like, the whole inside of this mountain is just this hidden playground with, like, loop-de-loops and huge ramps.
And cool, yeah. And you can just do tricks.
You can just totally do tricks and ignore the race.
Nice. Yeah, you can get San Francisco Rush for like $8 on 64.
It's a great game.
I might just buy it and try it again, because when I originally rented it, I wasn't really into it, but I think I didn't understand it, or I just wasn't good at it, and I got frustrated with it and never really returned to it. But I'd be willing to give it another try, especially for like $8. You can, oh no, that's a different one. I was like, you can get both of them, but it's California Speed. I never played that game. But yeah, no, I'd be willing to try that one out again. Do you remember Top Gear Rally? Did you guys ever play that game? That was a game I played briefly on 64. It was like an early car racing game.
I remember the Top Gear series. Didn't that start on Super Nintendo?
It probably did. I mean, I just remember the 64 one. You could like design your car. It wasn't like the best looking game, but it was the only racing game out at the time. So we would play it. We rented it and played it. That was one that played for a little bit. There was Ridge Racer, of course, but that one's not that great. Which ended up being a Nintendo DS release.
Another one I really liked is, it's not even a racing game, but it's cars. I mean, it's Destruction Derby. You can't really call it a racing game, but I don't know. Just how we get to mention that on this podcast.
Destruction Derby?
Destruction Derby.
I'll let it slide if it has cars in there. It's fine. I'll allow it.
All right. Let it slide straight into another car.
Yes.
That's the whole point of that game.
Oh, this is an NES game?
Fuck shit up. It's all about crashing. That's why I loved it.
And it was an NES game, right?
No, it was it was originally a PlayStation game, but it was on the 64 as well.
Okay, and what was it called? Destruction
Derby. The whole point is just to mess up other cars and destroy them. So you can like lose your doors and your hood and all that stuff.
Oh, okay. Is it like what's that other one? Is it like Carmageddon? Do you remember that game? That was on 64
No, Carmageddon
also.
was different. I played Carmageddon too. Carmageddon, the whole point was running over pedestrians, and there was actually a race. Whereas Destruction Derby, there's no, as I recall, there's no real like A to B race. You just try to survive in a pit, smash into other cars.
Nice. Yeah, you can buy it for $12 on eBay. See a lot of $11.99s. It's not super expensive. I never really played that game, so
it's fun.
I have to try it out. I played Vigilante 8, which was like their version.
Twisted Metal.
Yeah, their version of Twisted Metal. I have that. I bought it like really cheap. I think I bought it for like $5 at a comic store. It's not great, but it was like something I just want to play again. But yeah, no, I should check it out. Is there anything else you guys want to add to the list?
No, not really. I every time I think about a game, it would be a Nintendo.
Yeah.
Racer.
I mean, most of the Nintendo ones would be like Excite Truck or Wave Race, but we've talked about all those games before, so I wanted to talk about games that we haven't really talked about before.
Yeah, or like Diddy Kong Racing. And I guess honorable mention, maybe throw Moto Heroes in there, but we've talked about that game a lot.
We have talked about Moto Heroes.
I guess it is technically a racing game. There are sections where you are competing against other people, but it's more of a side scroller, so it's not quite the same.
Mm-hmm. Well,
as far as racing games are concerned, it's these first party Nintendo racing games I've always been into, starting with Mario Kart, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, all these other ones have their own charm in themselves, and since we went to a car racing thing,
but I love this the Sega Plus All Stars. Like, it's one of my favorite games I've played recently, and I was telling Trey, I think yesterday, I was like, it's like the Mario Kart game I never played. It's like there's a secret Mario Kart game in the library that I never discovered.
Yeah.
So like, it feels good because I've been playing Mario Kart 8 for 4 years now almost, 3.5, however long it's been out.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's been, I love that game, but I'm really familiar with it at this point. So it's fun playing all these new levels and these new characters, and, the challenge mode is a lot different. Mm-hmm. There is no challenge mode in Mario Kart 8. So this has like a single player like mode where you have like a unlockable sort of stuff happening, which is cool because you have like visual measures of your progress as you play more.
Yeah, it's almost like
you get that a little bit in Mario Kart 8, but especially on the Switch where everything's unlocked already. Like you just unlock vehicle upgrades. That's it.
Yeah, no, they definitely do it better in that regard. Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing, it's basically like there's a world map and you get to, well, sort of, like you go from like race to race and you collect stars to unlock gates and unlock new characters and all that. But yeah, it's almost reminiscent of like the mission mode from like Mario Kart DS, which was like probably one of my favorite things for any Mario Kart game, and it's a shame that they never brought it back. That's why that makes that game my number 2 favorite Mario Kart game of all time, Mario Kart DS, because of those mission modes. But it is kind of similar to that, where there's like drifting races where you have to like drift in a certain way or a certain amount of time, and it's fun, yeah, and you keep going through, and there's different challenges, and you gotta gain stars, and you get new characters, and your characters also like level up, and you get different ways to change your stats or whatever as you go. So for each level, you'll get like 5 or 6 different other ways to change it up if you want to have like higher acceleration or boost or whatever. So it's cool, like you can kind of level up your dudes as you go. And you get like tokens to where you can put it in like a sort of a gambling machine, and you can get a different power up for every level. So I would see how it's a breath of fresh air to Mario Kart, because it's much different than Mario Kart. And if all you've been playing is Mario Kart 8 for a while, it's a good thing to go to. But yeah, we highly recommend Sonic and Sega All-Stars. Check that out. But if you guys don't have anything to add, I'm good with calling this an episode. Our last few ones have been like 2 hours, so I'm fine with making it not 2 hours.
Well, I'm surprised that Trey didn't mention Crash Nitro Kart, because you always say, "Oh, that's a good kart racer." The Crash Bandicoot racing game.
No, Crash Team Racing is the good
Team
one.
Racing.
I didn't mention, well, it's an honorable mention. It's actually not on a Nintendo system. It's only on PlayStation 1. But it is an excellent game. I would put it up there with Diddy Kong Racing, maybe even better than Diddy Kong Racing because you don't have to collect stupid silver coins and stuff like that. But I really enjoyed that game. I played it. It was free on PlayStation Plus, and I played it on my PSP a bunch, and it was really enjoyable. It's great. But yeah, I didn't play any of the sequels, so I can't really say whether they're good or not. But I really loved that first one. It was really cool. I didn't play like Tag Team Racing, or I didn't play Crash Nitro either. But maybe I'll get to check them out someday and see if they're worth it in any way. But yeah, that's been our episode 123. 123 right here. We're your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
I'm Jeremy Mikowski.
John Nitter.
And, you can find us at NintenDomainPodcast.com or any of your podcatchers. You can find these podcasts. Make sure and leave us a review. Let us know how you feel. You can email us at NintenDomainPodcast@gmail.com. You can catch all these videos that we talk about at youtube.com/Fingmater, FINGMATER. We're on Spotify as well. You can listen to us there. And you can find us on Twitch at twitch.tv/NintenDomainPodcast. I do streaming stuff every Thursday and every Wednesday, so you can check that out. Did a bunch of stuff today from Pokemon Quest and Street Fighter and Ikaruga and Sonic and Sega All-Star Racing. You can watch that. And our song that I'm going to use to take us out here is from Snowboard Kids, a game that we didn't mention because it doesn't have any cars in it, but it had an amazing soundtrack, and I remember playing it a little bit when I was a teenager in high school. So I'd love to play it again to see if it's actually good. I don't really remember how great it is, but supposedly Snowboard Kids 2, I guess, is kind of rare. It's like around like $40, $50. But anyway, thanks for listening, and see you later.
See you.